Hello, students, and welcome to our lesson the day before Halloween. It's so nice to be with you as always. We have a question today in our Do Now about perspective, so we'll spend a few minutes talking about that. Our objective today is to continue adding and subtracting fractions. Now, some of our problems are going to have more than two numbers, so that'll be a little bit of a challenge for us. Our essential question: why is it so important to carefully follow every step when adding and subtracting fractions that have those tricky, unlike denominators? Our assignment will be to watch our video and complete the 2 pages we have assigned. We have a short class today, so I don't know that you'll get it all done, but I am hoping that for homework you will finish up anything that you did not complete in class. And for our exit, I want you to tell me how confident you feel about fraction, addition, and subtraction, and how can you build more confidence. Remember, if you go trick-or-treating, please follow all health and safety rules. We want you to have fun, but we want you to be safe. So please be mindful of everything that you've been doing at school with masking, with social distancing, with being careful, with frequent hand washing, and with using hand sanitizer. We want you to have fun. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be safe. So, a little bit of a Halloween do now today. What does it mean to notice the perspectives and feelings of others? To really notice, and we'll talk about that a little bit in class. But meanwhile, I'd love you to write 1 or 2 sentences right there and give it a couple minutes to think about. And again, our exit today will be to explain how confident we feel about fraction, addition, and subtraction. And let's think about how we can build more confidence. So now we're on to our worksheet. We have a mixed number addition self-checking sheet. And this is one of those I've created for you where once you find the answer to the first problem, then you put it on the first line of the second problem, and then you solve that problem. So here we are working with 20ths and fifths. So I'm going to go ahead and get a new page for this. So we have 2 and 7/20ths plus 4 and 5/5. 4/5, 4 and 4/5. So what I want you to think about here is the 20th and the 5th, those two denominators. We're going to ignore the whole number 2 and 4 for now. So if you have 7/20ths and you have 4/5, what you need to do is have a common denominator. Well, 5 is a factor of 20. 5 times 4 is 20. So we can go ahead and just convert both denominators to 20ths. So we will not need to change the first fraction, 2 and 7/20ths, but the second fraction we need to convert it to 20ths. Well, 5 times 4 is 20. So we also multiply the numerator by the same thing. 4 times 4 is 16. So we'll add the whole numbers. 4 plus 2 is 6, and we are working in 20ths. And then we will add the numerators. 16 plus 7 is 23. And 23 is an improper fraction. It is more than, the numerator is greater than the denominator. It's more than 20. So if I were to take the denominator and divide it into the numerator, 20 will go into 23 one time. 1 times 20 is 20. 23 minus 20 is 3. So that would be 1 and 3/20ths. So what we would do is instead of 6 and 23/20ths, we would add the 1 to the 6 for 7 and 3/20ths is our new denominator. So our final answer is 7 3/20. Let's put that on our paper. And then that also goes here. Okay, so now we have 2 1/2 plus 7 3/20. Okay, 2 is a factor of 20, so we need to convert this denominator to 20ths. So we'll have a whole number of 2, we have a denominator of 20. How do we get from 2 to 20 with multiplication? Well, we multiply by 10. That means we multiply the numerator by 10, which will give us 2 10/20, plus, and we don't need to change anything on the second fraction, 7 3/20. We add the whole numbers, 2 plus 7 equals 9. We're working in 20ths, that's our denominator. 10 plus 3 make 13. This cannot be simplified any further, so that's a final answer, 9 13/20. Now we take that 9 13/20, and that goes into our next problem. And so we'll work on number 3. So that would be 4/5 plus 9 13/20. And 5 is a factor of 20, so we can make 20 our new denominator. 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16. So 16/20 plus 9 13/20. So there's no whole number here, so that's a 0. Plus 9 equals 9. 16 plus 13, you can always make a sidebar if you need to, is 29. Now this is an improper fraction, so we're going to take 29, divide it by 20, and it will go 1 9/20. Now this 1 is added to the 9, which will give us 10, working in 20ths, and this is our new numerator, 9/20. 10 9/20. We'll put that on the answer, and then that will also go on this line here. That's how these are self-checking. So now we have 3 1/2 plus 10 9/20. 3 1/2 plus 10 9/20, and 2 is a factor of 20, so we can use that for our denominator. 2 times 10 is 20. 1 times 10 is 10, plus 10 9/20. Add the whole numbers. 10 plus 3 is 13. 10 plus 9 is 19. 13 19/20. That cannot be simplified, so that is a final answer. And we also put that on the next line. And now we need to add these next two. So 20, and we have a denominator of 20, and we have a denominator of 1/2. And we know that 2 is a factor. So let's get started. Of 20, so we can use 20 as our denominator. So So we have 13 and 19/20. And this is number 5 we're doing. Plus 3 and 3, plus 1/2. So we're going to leave our denominator as 20ths. And we're going to convert the second fraction to 20ths. So 2 times 10, it got us to 20. So 1 times 10 gets us to 10. So 13 plus 0 is 13. 19 plus 10 is 29. And 29/20 is an improper fraction. So we will divide 29 by 20 with a remainder of 9/20. So this 1 is added to the 13, and we will have 14 and 9/20 fully simplified. We'll write that for number 6. Okay, now we already have 20ths, 14 and 9/20 plus 3 and 3/20. So let's just add the whole numbers, which will give us 17. We already have our common denominator. 9 plus 3 is 12. Now we can simplify. 12 and 20 are both divisible by 4. So 12 divided by 4, 20 divided by 4. So that would be 17 and 3/5. And that is a final simplified answer. We'll write that here. And let's go to our scratch pad for number 7. So this is number 7 we're working on. And set 4 and 1/2 plus 17 and 3/5. Now we need a common denominator for 2 and 5. Factors of 5 are 5, 10, 15. Well, 10 is also a factor of 2, so that'll be our new denominator. So instead of 4 and 1/2, we will have 4 and 5/10. 2 times 5 is 10, 1 times 5 is 5. Plus 17, and instead of 3/5, 5 times 2 is 10, 3 times 2 is 6. Now we add 4 plus 17, which gives us 21. 5 plus 6 gives us 11. This is an improper fraction. We need to simplify and draw out one whole and give it to the 21. So if we had 11, we divide it by 10. It would be divisible by 10 one time. 1 times 10 is 10, with 1/10 left over. This 1 gets added to the 21, which gives us 22 and 1/10 as a final simplified answer. And let's take on the next one. We have 4 and 2/5 plus 22 and 1/10. So this is number 8. 4 and 2/5 plus 22 and 1/10. we can convert this 5 to tenths. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4. And we have the 22 and 1/10. Let's add the whole numbers. 4 plus 22 is 26. 4 plus 1 is 5. And we can divide both the 5 and the 10 by 5, which would give us 26 and 1/2. And that's a final answer. And put that right here. And we put it here. So 26 and 1/2 plus 1 and 1/5. And we have a 2 and a 5. And when we have a 2 and a 5 as a denominator, our new denominator is 10, because 10 is the least common multiple of 2 and 5. So we'll have 26, and 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 5 is 5. 26 and 5/10 plus 1, and 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 2 is 2. We add the whole numbers. 26 and 1 is 27. Working in tenths, 5 plus 2 is 7. And that is simplified. That's a final answer for that. 27 and 7/10. And this should work out, but we'll check our work. 1/2 plus this number 10, 1/2 plus 27 and 7/10. 1/2 can be converted to tenths. That would be 5/10 plus 27 and 7/10. 0 plus 27 equals 27. Working in tenths, 5 plus 7 is 12. And that's an improper fraction. If we were to divide 12 by 10, 1 times 10 is 10. We would have 2/10 left over. We can simplify that. Let's do that in a minute. We add the 1 to 27 to give us 28. We've got 2/10. However, 2 is divisible by 2, as is 10. So our final answer, 28 and 1/5, because we've divided both of these by 2. So 28 and 1/5 is our final answer on this page. And that's the answer that we should have ended up with. So good job on that. Let's try one that's a little bit harder and see how we do. So we have, let's get a fresh page. And we have 2 and 4/5 plus 1 and 3/4 plus 3 and 1/2. And we need a common denominator for the 5, the 4, and the 2. So let's list out factors of 5. Factors of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Now, which of these can be divided by 4? Well, only 20. Can 20 also be divided by 2? Yes, it can. So this is our least common multiple. So let's write the whole numbers as they are, working in 20ths. 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1. And 4 times 5 is 20. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 3. And again, we're making it 20s. So 2 times 10 is 20. 1 times 10 is 10. So let's add up the whole numbers first. 2 and 1 make 3, and 3 more make 6. Working in 20ths. Now let's add the numerators. 15 and 10 make 25. 15 and 10 make 25, and 16 more make 41. So we have 41 20ths. Let me write that a little clearer so you can see it. Okay, this is an improper fraction. We need to divide that 41 by 20 to see how many wholes and how many parts we have. 20 times 2 does give us 40 with 1 left over. So that would be 2 and 1 20th. The whole number 2 is added to the 6. 6 plus 2 is 8, and this is our new fraction, and 1 20th. And that's a final simplified answer. So that's the answer to our first problem, 8 and 1 20th. And we'll write 8 and 1 20th on the second line, and let's do that next problem. So number 2, we have 8 and 1 20th plus 4 and 3/5 plus 1/8. So we need a multiple of 20, 5, and 8. Well, 20 times 1 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. 40 is also a multiple of 5, and it's a multiple of 8 because 5 times 8 is 40 and 8 times 5 is 40. So that's our new denominator. So we have our 8 and some number of 40ths. Well, 20 times 2 is 40. 1 times 2 is 2. Plus, we have our whole number 4. 5 times 8 is 40. 3 times 8 is 24. And then our final number, this 1/8. Oops, I should have made that 4 40ths. So 8 times 5 is 40. 1 times 5 is 5. Now we add the whole numbers first. 8 and 4 make 12. So 12 and 2 and 24 make 26. And 5 more make 31. And that's a final answer. That's as simplified as it can be, 12 and 31 40ths. And let's insert that in the next place. Let's see. We need a big denominator here. This is number 3. We have 1/16 plus 12 and 31 over 40. Factors of 40 are 40, 80, 120. I'm just adding a 0 to the 4 times table. And 80 is divisible by 16 because 16 times 5 equals 80. So that will be our new denominator. So instead of 1/16, 16 times 5 is 80. 1 times 5 is 5. Plus 12 and so 40 times 2 is 80. 31 times 2 is 62. And so whole numbers, we have a 0 there and a 12 there. We'll add the numerators. 62 plus 5 is 67. And that is a final simplified answer, 12 and 67 80ths. And we need to write that here. And let's get some room on our board. So this would be number 4, 1 4/5 plus 12 67/80. So what is 80 divided by 5? Because we need to know what our multiplier is. So 5 goes into 8 one time, 5 goes into 36. So 5 times 16, 4 times 16. So it's 5 times 16 is 80ths. 4 times 16 is 64. And that's going to be added to 12 and 67/80. So 12 plus 1 is 13. 64 plus 67 is 131. 131/80. We need to do some division. We'll divide by 80. And I'll say 80 will go in there one time with 51 left over. So this 1 is added to here. That would make it 14. And here's my new numerator and my denominator. 51/80. So 14 and 51/80. And we also write that here. Okay, 3 1/2 plus 14 and 51/80. 80 can be our denominator. 2 times 40 is 80. 1 times 40 is 40. So that'd be 3 and 40/80 plus 14 and 51/80. Let's just add the whole numbers to get 17. And we have a denominator of 80, and 40 plus 51 equal 91/80. So we have an improper fraction that we have to divide. 91 divided by 80. 80 goes in there once. 1 times 80 is 80. And we have 11/80 left over. So add this 1 to the 17, which gives us 18 and 11/80 as a final answer. And we'll write that on number 6 as well. Okay, I think, and 1/2. 18 and 11/80 plus 3/4 plus 2 and 1/2. So 80th is a good denominator because it is a multiple of 4 and of 2. So 18 and 11/80 plus 80 divided by 4 is 20. So we multiply the numerator by 20, which gives us 60/80 plus 2, and half of 80 is 40. Let's add the whole numbers. 18 plus 2 is 20. We have 80ths. 11 plus 60 plus 40 is 110. 111, excuse me. And that's an improper fraction there, so we have to take that 111 and divide it by 80, which leaves us with 31 over 80. So we add the 1 to the 20, and our final answer is 21 and 31/80ths. And let's look at the next problem. Let's insert our 21 and 31/80ths. These are getting quite challenging. This is good practice for us. So let's copy number 7. So 2 1/2 plus 21 and 31/80ths plus 4 1/4. Again, 80 will work as our new denominator. So 2 times 40 is 80, 1 times 40 is 40. And this fraction can stay the same. So this 4 times 20 is 80. 1 times 20 is 20. So the whole numbers, we'll add those first. 4 plus 2 is 6, and 21 is 27. Working in 80ths right now. 40 plus 31 plus 20 is 91. And this is an improper fraction. If I took 91 and I divided it by 80, it would be 1 11/80ths. So we take that 1 and add it to the 27 to give us 28 and 11/80ths. And that's a final answer for that problem. We'll put that down here. And moving on to number 8. I'll roll the paper down a little bit. Just give us a little more room. Number 8. 1 4/5 plus 28 and 11/80ths plus, well, that's it. 1 4/5 plus 28 and 11/80ths equals. So again, 80 is a good denominator because it is divisible by 5. So how many groups of 5 are in 80? Well, 1 times 5 is 5. 3, bring that down. 16. Okay, so 5 times 16 is 80, and 4 times 16 is 64. So 1 64/80ths plus 28 and 11/80ths. We'll add the whole numbers first. That equals 29, working in 80ths. 64 plus 11 is 75. And both of these numbers are divisible by 5. So that will give us 29 and 5 16/16. And that's a final, fully simplified answer. And we'll put that on the next line. And this one's not so hard. 8 times 2 will give us 16. I can write over here 2, and 1 times 2 is 2. 2 and 2/16 plus 29 and 15/16. The whole numbers, 29 plus 2 is 31. 15 plus 2 is 17, but 17/16 equals 1 and 1/16. So we'll add the 1 onto 31 to give us 32 and 1/16. 32 and 1/16 goes here. So let's convert 36.5 to 8/16. 32 and 4 is 36, 7 and 1 is 8, and then we simplify 8/16 to 1/2. So 36 and 1/2 is our final answer, and our whole page checks. So remember to go back and reflect on the exit ticket, your confidence about fraction addition and subtraction, and what you can do to build more confidence. Please be safe tonight trick-or-treating. This is our Halloween pumpkin. And I hope that every doorstop you visit is safe and fun. Have a happy Halloween. Keep practicing, and I know you'll be great.